What's up, yo? This is NekoPastel and welcome back to the letter. So, where we left off, Hannah, right? How's your head? We were preparing photographs for Hannah, right? But one of them turned out to be botched. So what did we do? We decided to go and see her about the matter, and we ended up having a conversation with Luke Ray. He didn't seem too pleased to see us. And now we're going out with Hannah? I'm not quite sure what's going on. But yeah, our relationship with her has went up, so that's good. Luke, not so much. It pretty much stays down here. When are we going to change this? Are we ever going to change it? Who knows? He's a rather distant person, I will say. The only one close to him is Hannah. I say we take a look at some journal entries and we can catch up on what has happened. Let me do the honours. Let me move up here. Okay, so Tuesday, October 25th. Ashton arrived to fetch Isabella hours later, but she didn't want to leave after all the food they prepared. In the end, Ashton and stayed. The Wrights and Zach's upcoming gig were a few topics touched during their talk over breakfast. Fair enough. Oh yeah, I think we triggered Ashton that episode. I'm not quite sure what happened. Here's a few more entries here. Let me have a look. Thursday, October 27th. Some of Hannah's shots from the photo shoot the day before came out distorted after Zachary developed them. He would have almost dismissed it as a human error if he hadn't remembered a chilling memory from yesterday's shoot. Yeah, no kidding. The pale bitch got her, and surprisingly she never noticed. Okay, also on Thursday, October 27th. Disturbed, Zachary decided to show the photographs to Hannah herself. He was greeted by a wary Luke Ray upon arriving at the mansion. Just in time, Hannah appeared to save Zachary from further interrogation. At her request, Zach accompanied her to Luxbourne City. This is where we are now. Look at Luke. He's like, I don't know. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see where this goes because we're spending more time with Hannah, so let's do this. Let's have a read, shall we? If someone told me I'd be spending my entire morning being dragged around half of downtown Luxbourne looking for furniture, I probably would have simply smiled at them. Then perhaps even given them a good, friendly pat on the shoulder and wished them a nice day. Not that I find anything wrong with this at all. On the contrary, this is most definitely a nice change of pace after weeks of getting bogged down by several freelance gigs and shutting myself inside my apartment whenever I can. If only the weather would be a whole lot nicer. The kind with less sun and more clouds, perhaps. They really think that'd be better weather, honestly. I would thrive to be in the sun right about now. With the mid-morning sun slowly beating down on us as high noon approaches, I can see why Mr. Wright skipped out on this trip. The bright side is, the whole thing seems to have put Mrs. Wright in a less sombre mood. No kidding. After the fifth store, her pace is considerably livelier, her gestures less guarded than the one she displayed at the mansion earlier. Oh look, it's Marianne McCullough. The presence of another person might have helped as well. Oh, so you know what? During sorry, I'm tapping the table. During Hannah's chapter, I think she wanted to sort out a meeting with Marianne McCullough. Do you think this could be it? Do you think this could be the meeting? Although Miss McCullough seems less predisposed to small talk, preferring to keep to herself most of the time and let Mrs. Wright lead us wherever. She did acknowledge me with a small nod when we were introduced earlier, but that didn't make standing outside the store together any less awkward while we wait for our client to finish her inquiry inside.
So, interior design, huh?
She cast me a sidelong glance before returning to her notes again, her pen scratching faintly against the paper in quick successive strokes. Okay, there goes that. And maybe she's a bit too professional. I did say I'm not any good at starting or keeping conversations going, did I? She doesn't look back up again, and I take that as my cue to stop any attempts of striking a dialogue with her and keep myself occupied with some other thing. Except what we have here is just Luxbourne, in its busy streets. People going about their day like normal, cars moving in and out of sight, heading to who knows where. Nothing remarkable, really. The ease with which a person can fade into the background here is reflective of what kind of city Luxbourne will always be. But the humdrum's one thing I learned to live with. Needless to say, it doesn't usually stay that way. There are times when it would come alive, make itself known, and reassert itself back to the world. However, those moments are few and far in between. Then again, with what graces the news channels lately, I'm starting to think it's going to happen sooner. Can't say I'm looking forward to what it'll bring.
Luxury living, is it?
Her voice effectively cuts through my thoughts just as I count the 13th passer-by wearing a hat today. Beside me, I can hear the faint rustling of paper and the clicking of her pen as she stashes them back to her bag.
Excuse me, what?
The magazine you're working for. It's luxury living, isn't it?
Ah, of course, okay, now she's getting interested.
Oh, yeah. You've been featured by them before, I take it?
A few years back, yes. For just some issues. My designs still appear from time to time, though not as frequent as before. Gotta have room for new talents, right?
It may not show it in her face, but the pride is evident in her voice.
Good folks, the people running the publication. Tell me, is DK still on the editorial team?
I wouldn't know. I've only started taking jobs from them this year. Freelancer, you know.
Good man, that guy. Anyone in our field should meet him. He had a lot of things to say about art, all of them relevant. Learned a lot from him, actually, even if we both came from two different fields. I hope he's in a good place. I haven't talked to him in a while.
She's really inspired, doesn't she?
Anyway, your portfolio must have been good if they gave you the job. They don't easily assign big features to freelancers like this.
I wouldn't say I am, but experience, you know? The more you practice it, the more you learn the tricks of the trade. That kind of stuff.
I know what you mean. Still, you've got to keep up with the competition. Each year, a new talent emerges, and, well, you never know. Clients can be a bit fickle-minded with their choices. Believe me.
Don't believe us.
Speaking of, do you think you'd be up for a new client after this?
I think so. Depends on how big the project is.
She reaches into her bag again. Oh, there's that the business card again. She flicks it like a shuriken. This time to pull out a business card, which she hands over to me. She doesn't hand it over to you. She flings it like a shuriken and then it goes into the wall next to you.
When you're free, send your portfolio to Chris. He's my assistant. He's been looking for a decent photographer to help with updating the studio's portfolio. Nothing urgent, but the sooner the better.
Not sure if I'll have the time to squeeze this in. But, alright, I'll give it a go once.
Marianne, could you look this over for me?
At that very moment, Mrs. Wright emerges from the store. When I look back to Miss McCullough, a mask of professionalism has returned to her. Or at least, that's what it's trying to be. There's a different light in her eyes as she faces her. A flicker of familiarity and recognition. I'd say it's fondness, but that would be too presumptuous. Whatever it is doesn't last, as it is briskly swept under the firm tone in our voice assumes.
Definitely. Is there a problem?
They said they don't have the colours you suggested. Do you think we can change it around for a bit? It might take a while if we insist what we want, and you know I'd rather not worry about this later.
I think it'd be better if I handle this one myself. Excuse me.
She walks into the shop without another word, leaving the two of us standing outside. As soon as she's out of earshot, however, Miss Wright lets out a giggle and she swipes the business card clearly off my hand. She smiles, a bemused little thing spreading across her face, and waves the card in front of me. I wish she'd do that more often. The smiling thing, it suits her more than the other one she frequently shows to the media.
I look away and the next thing I know you're picking up women. On the streets while the sun is high, no less. I'm not sure if I should be appalled or amazed. Whatever happened to the Zach I met a day ago? About as tall as you, photographer. Quite the gentleman.
Wait, what?
To tell you the truth, I'm a bit disappointed he's gone.
It ain't like that, Miss Wright. And I'm sure Miss McCullough's not the kind of woman to let herself be picked up by strangers, let alone people she barely knows.
Oh, shush. Let me have my fun.
Okay.
And didn't I say you can call me Hannah? This right after you introduced yourself as my friend in front of my husband.
Ah, see, she appreciates that. I'm glad we chose that.
I do believe this isn't how friends address each other. Too formal, don't you think?
She gives the card back to me nevertheless, and with it, her mood fades into a more pensive one. An odd look settles in her face, yearning, a bit wistful, as she looks back towards the shop's display window. There's nothing remotely interesting in it for me when I follow her line of sight though. A few trinkets here and there, a fur rug, a sofa, a wooden side table, and a lamp, all tastefully picked and arranged to assemble a typical antique living room. On second thought, it does look comfortable. But why they added a crib beside it baffles me. Unless, of course, the people they are hoping to market are those who are... Unless, of course, the people they are hoping to market are those who already have children, or are about to have one. Then maybe it is fitting. Okay.
I'm not some pregnant wife you have to worry about. Pregnant wife you have to worry about. I'm not some pregnant wife. Pregnant wife. Pregnant wife. Pregnant wife.
I think Hannah's pregnant. I think Hannah's pregnant. Peculiar choice of decorations aside, it does make for a nice icebreaker, if it's not on the same level of weird and completely out of the blue. It still leagues better than the awkward silence, which is definitely too out of character for a personality like Miss Hannah's. How should I start the conversation? Oh, okay, so another choice. You know what this means? We save our game. Okay. Oh, so there's two choices we can go with. Obviously, we always have the two choices. Do you think a crib would make a good gift? I think that one looks cute. Oh, well, knowing Hannah, she's broody. She would like children of her own. Look right, less much. Do you think a crib would make a good gift? I think that one looks cute. I don't know what to go with. I really don't. You know what? Since we've saved our game, we can go with each and see where it goes. Let's go with... obviously, I want to go with a good one. My heart is telling me to go with... That one looks cute.
Oh, I think that one looks cute.
I think her relationship with Hannah went up even more. Yeah, I think it did. Let's see what she says, real quick. Hannah balks, to my surprise, shuffling 2 steps away from the window and glares at it with such vehemence, I think I said that right, as if it did something remotely scandalous. A funny sight when taken out of context, and I probably would be laughing, really, if I understand what warranted such a reaction from her.
I wasn't looking at the crib.
Sure you weren't.
I wasn't really talking about the crib, Hannah.
Very good then.
Wait, it wasn't?
But it wasn't the crib, all right.
Oh, bless her.
Alright, I get you. But that's not it. Honest. I was just saying the stuff that was on display there looks nice. Or at least as nice as it can be compared to the ones we visited earlier. But I'm sure your interior designer has something different in mind for your mansion, so don't mind me.
I was hoping that it would be enough to cut the topic short. Instead, she sighs, leans on the wall closest to her, and runs her hand through a lock of her hair. There is a far-flung look in her eyes even as she fixes it on the concrete curb.
You need to stop looking at people like that, sweetie.
I'm afraid I don't quite catch your drift, ma'am.
I suppose you wouldn't be aware of it. Do you know you always carry this kind of phase? Like you're always staring at the world with this honest look. Like all there is to see is all the good in it.
Frankly, I don't see anything wrong if it's like that. I mean, there always has to be something in it. You know, a sprinkle of kindness here and there. Otherwise, we'd all be miserable.
For you, maybe. Some people have to fight through it just to see that. And kindness isn't always a great thing to have around. Sometimes too much of it can hurt.
It makes you wonder where this is coming from. How bad things have really gone for her to have this view. I do understand her sentiment, really I do. Still, when it's the last thing you can cling to when things have gone irreversibly bad, sometimes you simply don't get to make a choice.
Besides, the point is, it's impossible to lie when a person is looking at you like that. Or I could, but I'd feel like a horrible person afterwards.
She was looking at the crib, let's be honest.
Did you hear that, Mr. Zach? You just made me feel like a horrible person.
Alright, now you're making me feel like shit.
I sort of wish I had one like it. Just so people would stop lying to my face.
Or you can start by being honest with yourself. It shouldn't be quite hard. Friends don't lie to each other, don't they?
I guess so.
So what was the lie?
She draws in a breath, lays a soothing hand to her stomach, and...
That it was really the crib I was looking at earlier, silly.
I knew it! I knew it! She wants wains.
You're right, Uncle Zach. It's cute, but the pattern's not to my taste. I'm pretty sure Marianne could do something about that, though.
Uncle Zach! Oh my god, bless.
At the moment, what I should really be worried about is if I'm ever going to be a good mother to this child. Merd! I can't even tell the father he's going to be one in a few months' time!
Merde. For those of you that don't know, merde is shit in French. I love it. I'll put up a little, definition for y'all there. Because, this is the TheNekoPastel channel. You are here to learn.
Probably doesn't even want anything to do with this whole pregnancy thing. What am I going to do, Zach? Because right now, I'm absolutely at a loss.
Oh.
Just... Oh. That doesn't help. You need to say something, come up with something, Zachary. A beat.
Oh!
I think he realizes. I think I've just realized. No, she has a Okay. The realization strikes me like a ton of bricks suddenly bearing down on me. Oh god. More than astonishment must have shown in my face, because Hannah lets out a chuckle. The slump on her shoulders disappears altogether underneath her mirth.
Don't look so surprised, dearie. Tied the knot 7 years ago, remember? Don't you think it's bound to happen?
She brandishes her hand in front of me, the unassuming silver band on her finger glinting against the late morning sunlight for a second. She eyes it lovingly, almost tenderly, despite the trace of sadness in her voice. For all I know, there's an entire story there. I'd ask, but that would be too inappropriate even for friends. It's not my place to meddle to begin with.
Or at least that's what they've been saying early on. My whole social circle would be saying it's a long time coming.
But the kid is something you want, right? Because if it ain't, then that's a whole other problem.
Of course. I wouldn't deny I've been hoping to have him or her for a long time now. But then, now that we're here, all of a sudden, there are a whole lot of other things to be worried about. Business, a new home, public image, my own husband, and I don't know. I didn't really have anyone for a role model. I practically grew up with nursemaids pampering me every step of the way. What if it happens to this baby as well? Oh, I can already see how this will end.
Huh. I guess it's not just my sister.
What?
Oh.
You and my sister. I mean, you're both having jitters or something like that. That's what it's called, right? First baby jitters? Mind you, she was really convinced she'd do everything wrong then. He even called me in the middle of the night. Has to switch places the day she found out she's carrying a new member of the family. Never mind how utterly impossible her request is.
I'm quite sure I haven't done anything of that sort yet.
Oh, you don't know that? My brother-in-law has been telling me things 5 weeks into my sister's pregnancy. Since she's one cranky pregnant lady. Man, good thing I found a place for myself years before that bundle of joy arrived, huh?
It can't be that awful.
Who knows? I think we'd better leave it for Mr. Right to decide, yeah?
Provided he comes around. He just sounds so repulsed every time the idea is brought up.
Then maybe you should say it to his face. No mincing of words or beating around the bushes.
And if he says no?
You haven't even told him yet. Besides, that's his kid. Don't people usually say fatherhood changes men? I wouldn't call myself a living testament, of course, but there ought to be something that will hit him in that idea alone.
A wrecking ball would be nice.
A Shrekin ball. Laughter escapes me before I can stop it, and for a moment I thought I'd done something wrong when she doesn't join in. He's still her husband, no matter what jests or complaints she hurls about him behind the media's eyes, or in the presence of people she trusts. But when she does, her chuckle, a small hesitant sound at first, I find the rest of my unease slipping away.
Well, whatever it is, my point is, you've got no idea what will happen. In the same way, you don't know if you'll be a good mom. Trust me, my sister's been there. It's perfectly normal. If, my opinion matters, though.
A long second of indecision goes by. I can feel her eyes, filled with nothing but curiosity, boring into me while she waits for the rest. It's just a simple sentiment, but one thing I think she needs to hear for all the doubt she unwittingly places on herself. I'm just not sure it should come from me. I'll be damned.
I think you'll be a great mother, Hannah.
Aww. If she has an answer to that, I don't get to hear it, nor does she get to say it. Of course. Hi, McCulloch. As soon as it's out of my mouth, the bell hanging over the antique store chimes, and out comes Miss McCulloch. For more than one reason, I've never been so relieved that our talk got interrupted.
Everything's been taken care of for tomorrow, Mrs. Wright. We'll have everything you requested delivered early. I've left them instructions, but I may have to visit again right before your housewarming party to check for a few things.
Right.
I hope that's acceptable to you.
More than Marianne. This is a little early to say, but you did marvelous work with the mansion. I can't wait to see all of it come together tomorrow.
I'm only doing my job, ma'am. Needless to say, it's always a pleasure to hear a client is satisfied with my work.
Nonsense! You have every reason to be proud.
Cue blush.
I know you've already established your name here, but I'll still make sure word gets out, of course. I think I've got a few friends who might be interested in decorating their homes. I'll see if I can introduce you to them tomorrow.
I really don't want to impose, Mrs. Wright. There's still a lot to be done, and I'd rather be keeping an eye on it myself.
You know well enough I'll still do it. You too, Monsieur le Photographe. You better be the one taking the pictures for the event tomorrow, or I'll be very upset.
I blink at her, confused. Last I checked, I have nothing scheduled on my plate tomorrow. A couple of fleeting thoughts did cross my mind, like working on personal projects. But with the expectant expression on Hannah's face alone, I've wondered before how they got Isabella to sell them the mansion, with all the paperwork and the loops it has to go through. Well now, the how's already standing in front of me, and it's one giant ball of persuasion in human form. No kidding. If I have any doubts how she got around life, all of them would be dispelled right this instant. Hannah hasn't said anything yet, but I already know what my answer will be.
What event?
Our housewarming party, dearie. I've already sent invites through your publisher. They should have informed you of it by now.
I may have probably missed it. I haven't gotten the chance to check my mailbox yet. Deadlines, real-life happenings, you know, they can be pretty hectic. I'll try later, but they might have already assigned it to a different photographer if they haven't received my reply yet.
That's not a problem. Nothing a little call from me can't fix. I'll have them know I'm specifically requesting for your presence. It shouldn't be too hard.
She really wants us there.
Just promise me you'll show up. I expect to see you both there. No excuses.
Good company, good music, good food. Of course I'll be there.
To be fair, I would want to go as well if there was good food.
Lovely. I hope we have that settled then.
That's it. I'm not there for bullshit, I'm there for food.
I'd love to stay and chat, but unfortunately I have an appointment scheduled with the doctors after this. You two will have to excuse me.
Are you feeling fine, ma'am?
It's nothing big.
Oh, there's a short while in which her hand faintly touches her stomach when she says this. Her smile, as she does so, a tender thing in itself. She might never let it cross her mind, but motherhood would always suit her. But motherhood would suit her. The kid is already loved then, when he or she is yet to have a sense of the world. Candid moments like this, I wish I had brought a camera for.
Sorry we had to cut this short. I'd love to have lunch with you two, but, well, you two know how it goes.
It's quite fine, Mrs. Wright. I need to get going as well.
Is it somewhere far from here? I can have my driver drop you off on the way.
No, please. There's no need for that, Mrs. Wright. It's just within the city.
I see. What about you, Zach? We did leave your push bike at the mansion. Don't worry, I'll have someone bring it to your home later.
Nah, I live within the city too. A few blocks from here, in fact. I only visited earlier because...
I forgot till now as well. Oh god. The photos. Damn, I've completely forgotten about them. Nah, no kidding, me and all. We're too busy talking about Wayne's that I completely forgot about the distorted pictures actually. Even though I already talked about them first thing in the episode, my hand grazes the side of my pocket where I kept them since this morning. And sure enough, they're still there, waiting for the whole world to see them.
Because? Zach, sweetie, you're zoning out.
Miss Hannah, earlier, at the mansion.
Should I still show her the photos? I'm saving once again. Show her the photos, never mind. I think her relationship with Marianne McCullough is going to change as well, depending on what we do here, obviously, as well as Hannah. Should we show her the pictures or never mind? Oh, what should I do? I knew things were going to go tits up. Okay, I think they would appreciate it if I didn't. Well, you know what? Let's find out. She should know. I really should tell her. The relationship went up. Well, Marianne's didn't change at all. Okay, so she wouldn't have liked it if we showed her the pictures, so you know what? I'm sticking with that. I'm glad that we didn't show her the pictures. She should know. I really should tell her. Yeah.
Zachary, what is it?
When I look at her, all I see is a woman who only wants the best for family she's trying to build. I see those loving smiles on her face whenever she puts a hand over her belly, the fond tones in her voice every time she thinks about what will be in months' time. I bet she bought that mansion for the same reason. To fill its many rooms with the smiles and laughter of their children, to create memories from it, unlike the lonely one she had as a child. I can't bring myself to shatter that little wish. What other proof do I have, except for what might be taken as a couple of badly developed photos? No matter where you look at it, this is ridiculous. Maybe I am seeing things, and I need to visit my doctor again as soon as possible.
About the photos you requested.
Oh, are they done?
No, actually, they're not done yet. I had to finish the ones for the magazine first. I really don't want to rush it.
Please don't tell me you came all the way to Anslim just to tell me that.
I made you a promise.
Oh, you poor thing. I won't hold it against you if you can't give it to me soon. I'm not rushing you, dear. Good art takes time, yes. I'm more concerned about the quality than how fast it gets delivered. With it, I'm sure I'll get my money's worth.
You really don't have to pay for it, Hannah.
Shush you. Don't sell yourself short. You keep doing that and other people will follow. I'll have my secretary send the first half to your account tonight. No buts.
Behind her, Miss McCullum merely nods, mouthing at me just to take it as it is. She'd know, of course, being the other person working for the rites. But even if I decline, I'm certain Hannah won't be giving me a choice. She'll do it anyway.
I guess I'll just have to make sure I'll take good photos tomorrow at your party, yeah?
Fair enough. I'd love to discuss it with you, but I'll only get in the way. And I really need to leave now.
Have a good day, then.
You too, sweetie.
Aw, bless her. She smiles and waves, and then she's gone, leaving me wondering if I wasted half of my day worrying for nothing. But the weight of the photos in my pocket is impossible to ignore. Maybe I should have done the foolish thing instead. Miss McCullough departs shortly after Mrs. Wright has taken her leave, muttering something about getting a quick lunch before fetching Baruthiel from Chris, our cat. I don't know what or who a Baruthiel is. It must be important for her to be in this kind of hurry. And well, she doesn't seem to be fond of small talks, something we can both agree on. Lunch sounds good, or a walk around the city maybe? But with the sun as high as it is now, nah. And after how things with Miss Hannah went, and how things with Mrs. Hannah went, I simply can't muster the appetite for anything at the moment. If I don't do anything with it now, I have this impression it will rear its ugly head again. And by then, things might be too late to fix. What other choice do I have? Ash? Rebecca? In all likelihood, all they give me is a pat on the back and say, Z-man, go get some sleep. You're at it again, from Ash. I talked to Isabella, but I haven't seen her around since she showed up at my apartment 2 days ago. Weird. There is one person though.
Damn, I should have thought of that first.
Oh. Oh, look, it's the church from the main menu. Looking a little nicer though. As it turns out, I do have another choice. I'm not a religious person. I won't identify myself as much. Or rather, I can't. Sure, my grandparents did have to force me to go weekly. I'd happily join them. In fact, most of my childhood Sundays I've spent attending service. It's simply that. As you get older, the more experiences you get, forming your own beliefs on things becomes easier, for the lack of a better word. And at one point, it just stopped. That kind of thing. Nevertheless, I hold no disdain for it. Sometimes it does help. When things are really, really bad, when the dreams won't stay where they should be, talking does. A bit. It's also a good thing Father Norman's, well, he's not completely the pious man you'd typically expect. My unlikely friendship only probably happened because he's the kind of guy who's cool with the young ones, as he so aptly puts it. And he is, surprisingly. It makes him easy to approach. Like that one time with Isabella. I don't think he believes in that ghost kind, but there he went. Maybe he has something to say about the photos as well. It won't hurt, since I've already gone ahead and went to answer them. At daybreak, on my bike. At the very least, I know I won't get shouted at by whoever answers the door.
Unless someone does that inside a church. I highly doubt it.
Despite its age, the Luxbourne Church is a thing of wonder in itself, with its high-valued ceilings and the intricate stained glass windows. They're really pretty, actually. I love stained glass windows, they're gorgeous. One of the many gifts the Ermengarde family donated to the community in its early days. Oh, really? Or so I heard from Rebecca. Of course. She mentioned this once, although most of it flew over my head then. At this time of day, the church is mostly empty. Save for a few visitors and ushers shuffling about, some muttering their prayers underneath their breath. The scene of burning candles and incense permeate the air, giving the place a general feeling of reverence. pretty welcoming, all in all. Even so, I keep the noise my treads make to a minimum. Disturbing the quiet feels like a sin alone. An usher points me to a pew in front of the altar when I ask where Father Norman prays. He mentions something about the good priest not being in good health ever since he did a favour for a friend to bless an old house. This is the first time in days he's left his room. No surprise there. With the weird heat lately, even Rebecca caught something. Nervous little chap, the kid. Nevertheless, he leads me close to the foot of the dais. I think I said dais? My grammar's so bad. With a reminder not to stay too long before walking off. Seconds later, Father shifts and stands. He doesn't seem to have noticed me. I have to give him a little tap on the shoulder. When he looks though, to say he's surprised is an understatement.
Stay away.
Oh, what the hell? Oh, what's going on? Okay. I got an achievement for that anyway. What is going on? It's the bitch. His voice comes out, a whisper, almost inaudible. In the hush, a quiet restraint and defence to where we both are standing. But the tremor is there. He focuses on me with wide, bulging eyes, copious amount of sweat appearing on his forehead, despite the relative coolness of the place.
Father Norman?
Keep your distance.
Hey, it's me, Zach, remember?
Stay away, don't come near me.
Oh my god. It must be the fever talking, or whatever he's caught. It has to be. I don't recall ever doing anything for him to drive me away like this. In all the years I've known him, he's been nothing but polite, nothing but accepting of people regardless of beliefs or status in life. For words akin to a threat to come out of him, it's simply beyond unimaginable.
Go back to where you came from. Leave.
Father, what did I do?
Leave, now.
I extend a hand to his shoulder, meant to be reassuring. But he recoils. His ankle catches on the edge of the dais before he backs away. His shout when I attempt to reach it again echoes through the entire hall, catching the attention of a few people inside. I try to keep a level tone, but with these strangers' eyes trained on us, panic starts to weave its way into me.
Stay away, demon. Go back to the hell you came from.
Father, it's okay. I only came here for some pictures I thought looked odd. I figured you might know something.
From my pocket, I fish out the photos and try to hand it to him. Instead, he strikes my wrist away, almost like an accusation, and sends the photographs fluttering uselessly to the floor. Helpless, I can only watch as he curls himself to the ground. Onto the ground, a sad, blubbering mess, whimpering to himself. He tips his head forward and begins rocking, his hands clapped over his ears.
That accursed spirit, so full of anger and pain. All those horrible things I've seen. I can't sleep, can't eat everywhere I look.
Fucking hell.
Go away, go away. Go away. You're not supposed to be here. This is a house of God. Be gone, demon. Lord have mercy, God our Lord, King of ages, all-powerful and almighty. You who made everything and transform everything simply by your will.
Fucking hell. A number of people have moved closer, mostly just to gawk. Thankfully, as if to save him from being an utter spectacle, 2 ushers come out, taking him away. One of them, the kid from earlier, shoots me an apologetic look. I can't even return it to him. Anxiety is a powerful thing, a firm little notion that clings, eats, and consumes you. I can still hear his prayers, even as they drag him away.
May he keep at bay and vanquish every evil power, every poison or malice invoked against us by corrupt and envious people.
So that's why we haven't seen him since. He's been seeing the pale bitch as well.
Then under the protection of your authority may we sing in gratitude.
Fucking hell. It rings, hums in me, as I am left to pick up the pieces of this chaos. Back to square one we go. If there is salvation in this, I hope we find it soon. Oh god, well, that went to shit real quick. The moon is well into the night sky by the time I make it back home. My heavy treads and the sound of traffic outside echoing in my ears fills the empty room with some semblance of life. Nana would scold me if she ever hears me walk like that, but after today, I really can't give a damn about everything. The mattress creaks under my weight as I unceremoniously flop down on it, and I find myself looking at the paper under my grip. As promised, Mrs. Wright had my bike delivered back to my apartment. Found it parked in the rack downstairs with an invitation and a note tracked to it, in fact. Be there, it said. Ah, look. If only it were that easy. But it'll give me a chance to talk to her. About the thing in their house. With a sigh, I let my hand fall to the side of the bed, along with the invitation. I'll think about it tomorrow, when my head ain't muddled with thoughts of a headless woman, or the haunting smiles of a ghost. Belatedly, it occurs to me I haven't eaten anything since I left this morning, and an empty, gnawing ache makes itself known, but I can't bring myself to stand up. Today was a complete waste of time, and frankly, a disappointment. I don't like this. The lack of certainty, the disquiet, the lack of stable ground to stand on, the part where I do not know what will come tomorrow. Ever since that damn letter, everything has been thrown out of the loop. I wish everything stayed the same. Routine would have been easier to make sense of that. Routine would have been easier to make sense of than this. Routine would have been easier to make sense of than this. Closing my eyes, I let the noise from the streets below lull me to sleep. At the very least, that's the one thing that hasn't changed. October 29, Saturday. The melody carries into the hall long before I cross the threshold. Solemn, but gentle and soothing. A reminder of what home is. Pa's firm but meaningful gaze. Ma's wistful smiles. The warm rays filtering through the eaves at sunset. The distinct smell of wet earth and leaves after a long day's rain. And our room. The room. Ma and Pa's pride and joy. A place we were once promised several springs ago. Yet it won't stop.
No, wait! Come back! I'll be good this time! Please don't leave! Please stay!
The floorboards are cold under my feet, more than it usually is. The walls more forbidding than what I'm used to. Farther and farther the room goes. Ma's singing ceases, and Pa... I can't hear Pa. Not above the raucous clanging and the deafening roar of gunshots, nor the screams replacing the comforting soft melodies. There is only the blinding fear. But when the light breaks, her skin has already taken a sickly pale colour, rotten in most parts, blood dripping from every open gash and lesion in her body. Bony hands grip Hannah's neck like a noose, straining the skin underneath with a vibrant shade of scarlet. Nothing but malice fills the gleam in her eyes. A scream ripples through the air. What's going on? My whole body feels distant. Every limb heavy with lead, all unstable to move at will. Not even so I can wipe the beads of sweat forming at my temple. The rasping of my breath easily fills the room in the wee hours, while I force it back into a steady rhythm. There's a tightness in my chest I can't shake off, my heart pounding against it, as if it's about to burst out. Something cold is settled in my legs. Not the usual chill that comes and goes with the passing breeze from the window, but one strong enough to sting, shackle, and leave a frigid sensation creeping up my skin. With every struggle I make, the pressure winds firmly around my legs. Tighter, and tighter, and tighter, all until it becomes too much. Oh God, it's her. My heart stops. Another draft sweeps into the room and brings with it the iron tang of blood. Thick, suffocating, filling my nose with a foul, sickening smell. As I shift my gaze downwards, it slowly comes into view. Oh, fuck no! Oh, no! Mouth stretched in a hideous smile, and eyes brimming with nothing but madness. The stench of gore taints the air around me. I cannot look away from it. Her, from the terror and death that her uncanny twisted features alone scream. I tried to open my mouth, to shout, to ask for any help, but the voice has left my body altogether. All I have is this painful realization that no kind of play will ever save me from her. Then suddenly the bed dips. Fuck you! Oh my God! I'm not dead. Oh. The brutal plunge back into life into myself jerks me awake. There's no ear-splitting scream, no wild thrashing of limbs. Just a painful, constricting awareness that something has wound itself tightly around my neck. I waste no second pulling it, a blanket away. Just allow myself a few minutes to steady my breathing before getting off the bed. Inhale, hold, exhale. 1 step, 2 steps, 3. But the dreams have gotten worse. Ever since 2 days ago. No longer are there small cursory flashes that I'm used to, but vivid ones that linger. I can still feel the blood in my hands, the putrid smell of rotten flesh, the sickening crunch of bones breaking with every movement, and our cold, chilling eyes as they bore into me. I draw in one long, ragged breath, and before I know it, I'm walking out the door. Even in the waking world, it reeks. Fuck. Well then, I think this will be a good place to end the episode. What do you guys think? I think I've had enough for one day. Oh my God, my heart's still pounding. I'm wondering actually. Give me a second. Were you guys able to hear my heart? Because I just like put the microphone against my chest. I don't think it's going to come up. I don't think anything is going to come out of that. It's just going to sound weird. But yeah. So at least we got to spend time with Hannah. I guess that's something. Does that outshine the fact that we were caught by the pale bitch and the priest just kind of like, you know, dismissed us. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I'm shook. I'm quite shook I am definitely going to leave this here because I need some tea and I need to calm down because I think I'm... because that was not cool. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed and I will see you guys in the next one. Roll the outro!